Well, hello everyone. Thank you for tuning in today. Welcome to It's Time for More Injury Funding Podcast. The podcast for all who want to learn about legal funding, personal injury related topics, and anything about world of paralegals as well. I'm your host, founder, and CEO of More Injury Funding, the legal funding counselors with passion for law, medicine, legal funding, and heart for all suffering individuals. In today's episode, we chat with Cynthia Bynum, MBA, MDiv president, and she can decipher that in a minute for us, and executive director, president of Georgia Association of Paralegals, 3 year in a row, daughter, sister, wife, mother to, great friend to so many of us at her workplace, family, and community. Besides all of her copious life and career accomplishments, Cynthia is one of those warmest, most considerate, tactful, funny, and sweetest people I know, who always has words of compassion, encouragement, and deep appreciation for everyone, who is no stranger to anybody or anyone, who has a never-ending internal drive for progress and passion for people. And Cynthia is brilliant with her words, and always makes me happy when I see her approaching a podium, whether whenever she may be, whether she's at lunch with friends, any community event, any paralegal event, anywhere really. And she has this contagious warmth and aura about herself that brings everyone, that brings people and just draws people to her. Today, my friend Cynthia will share her experience about being the president of Georgia Association of Paralegals, or for short, GAP. Ms. Bynum will also talk about self-care and its importance in one's life. Finally, she will provide some insights into mental health, as it is one of those topics on everyone's mind nowadays, especially as we live in the post-COVID era. Cynthia's personal life experience has a direct effect on how she helps her clients, who work with her. You, my dear listeners, will be able to learn about Cynthia's so many years of experience with law. And so welcome to It's Time for More Injury Funding Podcast, Cynthia.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you. And congratulations on this venture. I'm proud of you. It looks good on you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. Love my blue. I appreciate it.
Yes.
So let's just jump into our topic today. So let's start with what you do for a living.
Okay. Well, so I wear quite a few hats, but in this space, I am the president of the Georgia Association of Paralegals. I have been a leader of GAP for about 12 years in the leadership role. On the executive board the past 7 years. And being the president of GAP and executive director, it is my job, obviously, to advance the paralegal profession. What that means is, as a nonprofit org, it's our job to be entrusted with the organization, to create learning opportunities, continuing legal education, networking events, anything that's going to not only advance the profession for paralegals, but also their careers. That's very important. And so we do that in a lot of ways through pro bono opportunities. Clearly, paralegals support attorneys for every sector, public, private, the nonprofit sector as well. So we get to have a lot of fun here in Georgia. Because we are the Georgia Association of Paralegals, not just the Metro Atlanta area. So it matters to us to provide services, support to attorneys for, yes, the Metro Atlanta area, but for suburban and rural areas of Georgia.
Wonderful. And so how long did you live in Georgia, Cynthia?
Without aging myself, 30 years. I moved here when I was in my mid-20s. So I guess that is a little aging.
Yeah,
but yes, 30
very young
years.
soul, and you're beautiful.
Thank you.
So when did you become a president of GAP?
I became president 2020, because this is year 3 in the middle of the pandemic. I would like to think that GAP, I know that we thrived through the pandemic. I'm fortunate to have a great team of board members. I'm going to call their names out because they're not here and I love them. It's Joshua Braswell, who is our president-elect. We have Sabrina Henry. She is a past president, but she has served in our administration for the past 3 years as our membership director. We have Dawn Kamara. She is our continuing legal education director. We have LaShawna Bryant, Dr. LaShawna Bryant, as she's commonly known as. She's our director of pro bono community service. And we have Angela Davis. She is my beautiful sister, who is the director of social engagement. And if you all met Angela, you will know why. Who else we have? We have Taylor Buechner. She's a beautiful young lady. She is our events coordinator. And who rounds us out is Maria Davis. She is AKA the Gap Mom, but she is more than that because she would like stab me in the neck right now if I just left her as being the Gap Mom. She is our ambassador for fundraising. And so we have a great team of support. And I just want to love on them in this moment.
That's wonderful. So you are truly very young mom to all of us. And thank you so much for mentioning all of these wonderful people because they do make difference in the world.
Yeah.
So what does Georgia Association of Paralegals mean to you and what impact do you make in this organization? And including its members and legal profession with all of its network.
Yes, so I'm happy to answer that question because GAP, we're known as GAP, Georgia Association of Paralegals. We go by GAP. We will be celebrating 50 years, 50 years in October. So we will be at the Waldorf Astoria. We only have about 100 to 125 seats. So if you want to be a part of that great celebration. We will be there, but I lift that up is because 50 years is a long time for any organization. And GAP has done good work throughout the years. We've had fantastic leaders in the past. GAP means a lot to me and all of us who are connected to it because it is for us to advocate for those who cannot advocate for themselves. The practice of law, supporting the practice of law is a very fulfilling opportunity. There are so many people out there, our clients that we support through the attorneys that we support, don't know how to navigate through these complex matters. For those pro ses out there who do not have representation, GAP actually started a 501c that we coined on JAG, JAGG. It stands for Justice Alliance for Greater Georgia. And it is our response to access to justice. Again, helping people who don't have or cannot afford attorneys to help them navigate through the process and to try to help them to locate attorneys relevant to their matters. So for me, GAP means a lot. It's leadership, it's prevailing through complex matters, it's helping people to have representation, it's giving up of our time, our resources, and to support our members so that they can thrive in their careers.
Wonderful. It's a truly wonderful job you do, Cynthia. Very much appreciated. If a paralegal wants to become a member of GAP, what steps does she or he need to take and who can they reach out to?
Well, they can reach out to myself as the executive director or to Joshua, president-elect, and to Sabrina, particularly, she is our director of membership. All of us can be found on our website, which is gaparalegal.org. There is no S, it's just gaparalegal.org. We're actually launching a new website, and I'll go ahead and give it out now because by the time this is aired, it will be launched. It's gaparalegal.com. And so we have great business partners. Laura is one of them with more funding, but we have a business partner who actually gifted us with a new website redesign, and we can't wait to launch it. And so again, reach out to us there. You will see us and reach out to us about becoming a member, and we can continue to support you. And we are very responsive. It is a part of my corporate training.
That's wonderful. And what is that website, Cynthia?
Again, is gaparalegal.org. And the new one is gaparalegal.com. So of course, www, but we're in the 21st century. Nobody says www anymore. So just gaparalegal.org and .com.
I love it. What's prevailing in the paralegal profession mean to you personally?
That means a lot to me. We actually came up with that concept, I want to say 2 years ago, as we were moving through the pandemic. It was a true test on all of us in our country and around the world. As legal professionals, we have a lot of reach. GAP has been a part of a national organization. We have friends all across the country. We support attorneys all across the country. And so to prevail coming out of the pandemic was truly a test where the courts were closed and, depositions were hard to obtain, to get people to come into office. It was just, we all know it was a hard time. So to prevail for us meant to be resilient despite those obstacles and those challenges. And so for paralegals, quite honestly, we are required, there's a great expectation on the work that we do. It's ironic and interesting that a paralegal with our special training and education and experience, we can do just about everything that an attorney can do, with the exception of legally, we cannot represent anyone in court. We cannot hold ourselves out, obviously, to be attorneys, although we may have knowledge of different, matters, but we cannot give legal advice. We cannot accept money for retainers, for representing and holding ourselves out. That is, those are faux pas. That is unauthorized practice of law. But pretty much everything else we can do, and that everything else is a lot. So when we talk about prevailing, we are talking about working with our clients, supporting these attorneys as they do their work on representing litigants and defendants in court. It means working with sponsors and not sponsors, but vendors and all the processes and writing briefs and everything that it entails to be a paralegal. So it does require a lot of work, and it can be very stressful, but we have to prevail. And it's through GAP that we are very intentional about how we help people to navigate through that. We try to provide all type of resources to our members because we understand the level and the scope of that work.
And what company do you work for?
I actually am a free agent on purpose. So I take on legal matters, and I am a consultant. I am an MBA. And so I love this marriage of corporate and legal. That's my acumen. And so I support small businesses, helping them to incorporate. And so that's a process. I also take on matters of family law, contract law, personal injury. So I kind of pick my projects and the attorneys that I want to support as my time permits, because I am also an academic. I'm in school. And so I have some, I'm at this intersection in my life of faith and justice. And so I have been privy to work a lot of different consultancy projects in that space.
I love it. Wonderful. So I have been personally working with GAP in the capacity of a business partner and sponsor of some GAP events for the last almost 4 years. And throughout these years, I made some great friends and met some amazing business partners. So Cynthia, can you please talk about GAP's impact on the legal community in Georgia from your, as a current GAP resident perspective?
Thank you, Laura, for that. Yes. So you, as you know, as well as our other business partners, as I talked about earlier, the paralegals opportunity to prevail, we do have to work with a lot of different people to get the job done. So whether it's a personal injury case where you need funding to support that litigant as they are waiting for the demands and going through their personal injury processes and through their medicals and all that, that's one opportunity of an example of how we connect with the community, whether it's e-discovery for those matters that require a lot of litigation support. We have business partners for that. What else? I mean, all sorts of different types of sponsors and vendors. But what matters too is that we try to not only utilize the resources to get the job done, but we understand, and as I said earlier, being a corporate and business professional, I understand what real return on investment means. So with that, we try to position our business partners in a way in which our members are familiar with their services, where we create opportunities that don't even exist. And that's the beauty of GAP, because Atlanta is a very thriving area, the metro area, even all of Georgia. We have connections in all of Georgia, whether it's Augusta or Albany, Valdosta, Macon, Columbus. We're there as well. We have members throughout all the states, Savannah even. And so the legal community knows GAP. For those who don't, that's part of the reason why I'm doing this podcast. And but again, even for us, all roads lead to our 50th. After 50 years, we want people to know that, yes, we not only exist, but the great work that's being done and how we can support the legal community, as well as not just the business side of the work, but the community. There are a lot of needs in the community where people need services. And again, JAG is the organization, again, where we talk about access to justice. Justice means it could mean a lot of different things, because the needs of the community are different depending on where we're talking about serving. So that's how we try to make difference in the community and our connection to the community.
Wonderful. If somebody wants to reach out, about opportunities at or for JAG, who should they talk to?
That would be me.
That would be you as well.
And so for me directly with regards to JAG, I'll give my email address, which is cbynum, BYNUM @jagga.org. So it's like JAGA, but it's like JAG, Georgia. So you get it. So JAGGA.org. So that's direct to me. And if you do go to the GAP website, there is a link that will show you of some of the work that we're doing with JAG.
Wonderful. So GAP is celebrating, as you mentioned, 50th year anniversary of legal leadership in Georgia this year. How is GAP celebrating it, actually? Have you done anything? Any special events? Was there a week of celebrations? Was it a month? Is it still going on?
Well, we just finished the Paralegal Week Georgia. That is always the second week in the month of June. The governor proclaims Paralegal Week in Georgia. We just finished that. We had a great time. A week of CLEs, sponsors supporting us. We kicked it off at the Painted Pen in Buckhead. We shaked our butt a little bit at the gathering spot with a karaoke night. We had so much fun. Also check us out on social media. Our Facebook page is GAP Paralegals, I believe it is. And I think we have Instagram as well, but check us out. And leading to the 50th, again, we say all roads, because everything we do, whether it's building up JAG or supporting our programs of GAME, which is the Georgia Alliance and Mentorship Experience, it is in that program of GAP that we're actually mentoring a group of young people through Judge Kelly Hill's Cobb Pinnacle program. This is a program where I believe it's between 18 and 24-year-olds are selected by the judge. If they kind of get a felony charge, it would have to be a nonviolent charge. They get potentially an opportunity to go through this program for an entire year, and they have responsibilities and homework, and they have to show up once a month. But if they successfully complete her program, they actually get their record expunged, and they do not obtain that felony conviction. So GAP is an official mentor for that program. And I also want to give some love to our general counsel. GAP has its own GC for GAP and JAG, and that's in the person of Attorney Zenobia Waters. So we have a lot of good friends, a lot of good partners who help us to do this. We cannot do this in a silo. And we're just grateful for good leadership. We're always looking for great volunteers. We have young college students who are wanting to intern and be a part of our work. So again, reach out to us so that you too can be a part of this celebration, this recognition of the 50th, which, by the way, will be at the Waldorf Astoria in Buckhead. Like, you can't have 50 years and, no offense, do it at like the Hyatt. I'm just saying, nothing wrong with the Hyatt unless it's the Grand Hyatt. But we're going to be at the Waldorf Astoria on October the 21st at 7 o'clock.
With that.
7 o'clock, Waldorf Astoria. So I think our ballroom is a beautiful space. We wanted a nice boutique, high-end hotel. Our dearest friend, Arthur McCullum, he's a business partner, but he has a band that he is lead vocalist in. He will be performing. We have a live band. We're going to have the red carpet, the 360, photo booth. It's going to be everything. And it's actually an awards and gala. So it's not just where we're coming to shake our butt, but we are actually recognizing the leadership of some of our past leaders, the leadership of our business partners who are in the trenches with us doing this work. And we just have a lot of special surprises that I can't tell or talk about. Thus, it wouldn't be a surprise. But we're really looking forward to that. And I want to add that it will be, again, the weekend of October, the 20th and 21st. The gala at the Waldorf is on the 21st, but on the 20th will be at King and Spalding. They've opened up their doors. It's a beautiful space that they have in their multi-purpose room. We'll be there all day. My dear friend, Todd Spear, he's a paralegal director. I think he has a better title than that, but he leads the whole Southeast region for King and Spalding. He's a rock star. So they have opened their doors to us. So we're just looking for a grand time.
That's wonderful. So yes, if you do want to join GAP at any point, if you in capacity of becoming a member, vendor, sponsor, business partner,
Paralegal student.
Yes, or student, paralegal student, anybody really related to the paralegal field. These 2 days are a wonderful time to join. So October 20th or 21st, or both actually. So if you want to have fun, come on the 21st. If you want to learn and listen, 20th. Okay. So let's move away now for a minute from GAP and talk to me, Cynthia, a little bit about the importance of self-care in the legal profession. Being a paralegal, legal assistant, case manager, attorney, or a vendor in the legal sector.
Self-care is very important. As I said earlier, there's a great expectation on paralegals. I was just reading an article that was talking about the stress that comes with the job. It can. I think through experience, we learn to manage our priorities and manage our work so that it's not as stressful. But of course, you're going to have realistic demands of clients, just the work itself. The importance of the accuracy of the work, not making mistakes. So all of that can be stressful. But at the same time, for all of us, we have to self-care. I would just share that I am a doctoral student at Howard University in DC. Right now, it's virtual, but they're looking to go back in person. And so I very well may be on site there at some point. But the bigger point is that one of our professors had us to do an exercise where we literally had to write out a plan for self-care. And how many of us literally write out a plan we just don't do it. We consider self-care, okay, I went to bed early. I had a glass of wine and I went to bed early, or I went and got a manicure, pedicure. That's cute and good, but we have to be more intentional really about taking care of our mental health, our bodies. We live in an environment where there's toxins all around. Our diet is very important. I've watched a lot of people with a lot of stressful jobs, whether, to your point, whether it's a paralegal or an attorney or a business leader or professional. We're always in the grind. It's part of our society and our culture. We think the longer we work, the more effective we are. I'm not going to say everybody is chasing a dollar, but, people are trying to work so that they are doing well. But at the end of the day, we do have to be intentional about our own health. We have to take time to go to the doctor, get that surgery if you need it, the preventative maintenance things, keep our own schedules. Trust me, life will go on without us, that brief, that whatever it is gonna, somebody will do it. It'll be assigned to somebody else, but we do have to self-care. And I have in my plan, I wrote down that I would turn off my devices after a certain time. You know, how many of us are just married to our devices? We did not always have cell phones. Now, I am not telling my age to say that, but we did not always have smartphones. Now, a cell phone is one thing, but these smartphones, which are like mini computers, you know, in our handbags or in our, in our cars, we didn't always have that. And we're just so consumed about so much information that's always coming at us. And so I think that we do ourselves well when if at best you could write out a short little plan where we can actually take vacation, not have 100 days that you gotta, take it or lose it, and then you gotta cram it in. Like, that's crazy. But that's the culture in which we live. So we all have to do a better job of self-care and taking care of ourselves.
So how often do you go on vacation? When was the last time?
I know. So see, I'm preaching this, but have I been on vacation this year? This is June. I can't say that I have been on vacation, but my birthday is next month. Cynthia will be on vacation. I promise, somewhere. But what I have done, despite not being on vacation yet, I have always, though, I want to say for me, the month of December, I have always taken off the last 2 weeks. I take off the last week and the first week. I mean, pretty much everybody does that somewhat, but no, I literally like veg out. Like, I really like zone out.
And do you indulge into cocoa, just PJs, a lot of food and sweets, or you do nothing at all? Or like what's your ideal?
For me, it's getting sleep, because especially I just finished a program at Emory. I graduated in May of 2022. There were enough nights where I had to write papers and I did not go to bed that night, and went to class and functioned the whole next day, and then not go to bed until the following day. And that's crazy, but it's what you feel you have to do. And so, to be honest, in some situations, you feel like you're drinking water through a fire hose. That's how life comes at us sometimes. But for me, it is sleeping. It is taking me an all natural melatonin and going to sleep. It is the occasional glass of wine and just relaxing. It is watching a movie. I'm not a big TV watcher or movie watcher. Like, I'm not always, watching somebody else make money, on TV. But for me to take in a movie and just to chill out and to relax my brain. What else do I do? I love to go out with my kids and just eat, and my grandkids. So all that's all good.
Nice. You have to check out. Same here. I don't watch TV at all. Don't have time, to be honest with you. But if I do, it has to be special. Okay. So I came across this TV series on Netflix. It's called Suits. Look it up.
Oh, no. Okay, no. So you're speaking my language. Okay. I have binged out on Suits. So I have watched every episode of Suits.
I'm hooked.
Every episode. I did that like maybe 4 years ago.
I'm so hooked.
Yeah. No, I love Suits.
As soon as I'm done with this, set myself up, just relax, and
Suits
have my cat on my lap. My son's not with me today, and we'll just me and my cat will watch.
I will tell you how much I like Suits. I actually bought one of the T-shirts that actually had the attorneys' names on it, like Spectre. I forget the other one, but those attorneys for Suits. That's how much I loved it. So yes.
But you can sell. We'll share the collection, right? Yeah. So mental health topic became one of the most discussed topics in the legal front recently. Not really recent, but more recent. It was wonderful to hear our current GTLA, Georgia Trial Law Association President, Madeline Simmons, and the President Gala talk about the mental health issue and importance of acknowledgement in the legal profession. What's your take on it?
That was great. That was really great. A good platform to speak from. I understand they have a large following. We too at GAP, we recognize the need for mental health professionals to come in and speak with us. We've actually hosted, from the pandemic on, we've had some level of expertise as it pertains to mental health. So I find that very important, very necessary. It is not something that we should ignore. And that goes back to the self-care, our mental health. And I'm so happy that more employers are recognizing mental health days. From what I understand, there are some employers where you don't even have to give notice. You can just say, I need a mental health moment, and it's respected. And I guess I would argue that if employers would be more sensitive to that and to recognize that, that would be great. But we definitely believe in recognizing the anxieties, the different things that people experience, and to give space to allow people to self-care through mental health and those services.
And I'm so glad to see our society changing to a point where it's okay to talk about.
Yeah, not looked
acknowledge it.
upon as a stigma.
Exactly, and
Mhm.
just, let's do more of that, because we do, we get sick, our family members get sick, and it's accumulation of time. It doesn't happen overnight. So, anytime we see red flags, we see signs, please share, of course, keep it, private,
Mhm.
but please share with whoever you can, whether it's if you know somebody in the mental health field, being a doctor or a counselor, or just simply talk to the person, because sometimes even just a little talk helps a lot.
I agree. And to your point, it is important to share resources.
Very much so. So Cynthia, how do you help your clients achieve the results they deserve?
For me, because I take passion and pride in the work, I think it's super exciting to do this work. That's first off. And how I help them is by one, giving due diligence to the work. As a paralegal professional, you are relied upon for accuracy, for giving precise information, because you're helping people navigate through some complex matters that they are not familiar with. And so due diligence to the work, it's a lot of listening that's necessary. It's important to set clear expectations and communicate well with the clients. And you have to wear a lot of different hats being a paralegal. Sometimes you feel like a counselor. Sometimes you feel like a psychologist. But it's really important to allow yourself to wear these different hats to create these different opportunities of credibility, because that's essentially what it brings. And it brings trust, not only to the clients, but to the attorneys that you support. They need to feel like they can, and not just to feel, but to know that they can rely upon you. I read an article talking about one of the skill sets for paralegals, and is to be psychic. Like you have to anticipate what the need is before it's even a question. I never forget some of my bigger trials. And I worked for the district attorney's office in DeKalb County for about 6 years. And I never forget some of our bigger trial that the attorney would say, "Oh, we're not going to need that." But something in you say, yes, you're going to need this. And if you have that ahead of time, so anticipating the need before it's even been requested, those are ways that we can help. And again, credibility, trust, due diligence, listening, communicating, setting clear expectations, and just really being accurate, paying attention to those details.
And if you ever had a chance and pleasure to work with Cynthia, or hopefully you will in the future, you will be blessed, because she is very funny. Yeah, that I know you probably can, hear through this, recording, but if you met her in person, she's super, super funny, easygoing, smooth.
You gotta have humor.
Never,
Don't take yourself too serious.
And she just super calm. There's no problems for her ever. She always has the biggest smile on her face ever. Always, always, always. Yes.
I would like to think that's humble confidence, if it's such a thing.
I love it. You said it right. So Cynthia, it was so great having you on this episode today. Thank you again for being my friend.
Laura.
Thank you for being a great leader of Georgia Association of Paralegals community, and for our Georgia community, because we do need people like you. We love people like you. You connect everybody. You make everybody happy. Anytime people are around you, they feel special. Everybody feels special.
Thank you. Well, you gotta kind of love folk.
Yes.
To deal with communities. But no, we are humbled, we're grateful. Thank you for the opportunity. Again, I'm very proud of the work you're doing. I like to see you thrive. I was so excited. We were at some event and you were doing your own thing. And I just, in the middle of the event, it's like I kind of started like, so we're happy for you as well. And we will continue to support you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. If anyone needs, again, to get in touch with you, reach out to you, just repeat, please, how can they get in touch with you as far as your cell phone or office number, your email address, maybe website or social media sources?
Absolutely. So again, gaparalegal.org and gaparalegal.com. We bought both domains, y'all. So reach out to us on either platform. I can be reached via phone at 404-576-8707. My direct email or to reach us is president@gaparalegal.org. Or if you're trying to reach us for JAG, which is our Justice Alliance for Greater Georgia 501c3, again, that's GAP's response to access to justice. My email is cbynum, BYNUM @jagga.org. And if you want to send us something in the mail, we do accept sponsored donations and checks for members and all of that. For those of you who want to be members and want to have your employers to support you, our mailing address is 3355 Lenox Road Northeast, Suite 750. And that's Atlanta, Georgia, 30326. And that is how you reach us. On Facebook is Georgia Association of Paralegals. And so, yeah. We're happy.
Wonderful. Thank you so much again, Cynthia, for being my very special guest on today's episode on our podcast. It's time for more injury funding today. But before we conclude our episode, I have one fun pop-up question. Are you ready?
Oh my, what is this?
Then where's my question? Here we go. The question goes, how do you want to be remembered, Cynthia?
Why does everyone ask that question? I want to be remembered as a person who attempted to live her purpose. I believe in purpose. I am a faith believer. And so I believe that we were all created and designed by God for a reason that is beyond buying clothes and cars and houses, that there is purpose in our lives. So I want to be remembered for living out the purpose for which God intended, and for being a lover of people, being transparent, being honest, and being a bridge to connect people with resources. I have never been one to hold all of the goods to myself and not share knowledge or money or resources. That is not who I am. I have always believed in community and that we are so much stronger together.
I so much see you exactly like that. That's exactly
because that's how I try to roll.
Yes, I love it.
Gotta live by example.
Wonderful. Well, it was so great to have you here today with us. Again, that was Cynthia Bynum, the current president of Georgia Association of Paralegals and freelance paralegals. So if you need her assistance
and business consultant,
that's it too. Yeah. So if you need any help, if you'd like to meet to chat with Cynthia, or you would like to work with her, and I promise you will love working with Cynthia, to reach out to her. I want to thank again all for listening to the story. For more tips and tricks on legal funding and personal injury law related topics, follow me, like, and subscribe with More Injury Funding. And it's time for More Injury Funding on Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, iHeart, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Deezer, Listen Notes, and Player FM. LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Pinterest, YouTube, Yelp, Google Business Profile, and my website at moreinjuryfunding.com. That's with 2 O's. I can't wait to see you all and hear you all, my dear listeners, on my next upcoming episode. Tune in soon for our next guest. Until then, be well.